If you're watching this in the Mobile Europe newsreel player, you'll see that there's two or three companies operating in this signaling and service control space. Maybe that's indicative of the fact that it is something that's exercising operators at the moment as they see great increases in certain services. I'm joined here by Vince Lesh at Tekelec. Is that something that is just me making that up, or do you think that's true?
No, we're seeing that really on a global basis. Services like text messaging or SMS are really continuing to exceed everybody's expectation in terms of growth. So whether it be still growth in Western Europe or the emerging markets or even in North America, we're seeing a great deal of growth, which is driving demand for mobile messaging products that we have, as well as the core signaling products like our Eagle 5 STP.
And so how do operators then meet that growth, without spending, on point products each time they need to scale up?
Well, I think that's one of the key things that they have to address is that as they're moving to flat rate pricing plans and all you can eat, that basically they're seeing traffic grow exponentially and they can't have their costs grow exponentially. So we have products like our mobile messaging solution that is a much more modular distributed approach, which allows them to deploy, for instance, text messaging or SMS services in a much more cost-effective manner so that the costs don't scale linearly or with the message growth. So that's important to them.
So distributed means what? At the edge?
So distributed from the perspective that a typical SMSC was a one-box solution. And what we've done is broken apart the different functionality. So we have a firewall to protect the operator from spam and fraudulent SMS coming in. We have a router so that we can deliver messages on the first delivery. In the old days, people turned their handsets off. Battery life wasn't good, so you had to store a message before you delivered it. Today, everybody's phone is always on. Battery life is pretty good. So 80% perhaps I can deliver messages on the first attempt. There's no need to store them. So we've disaggregated that monolithic single box SMSC into what we refer to as an SMS network. And that allows the carriers to really build out their network using the best technology that's available and modeling really what's the types of solutions or the capabilities that customers have in their phones today.
Okay, so does that go hand in hand with their move to, away from SS7 to IP signaling, or not, or is that a separate issue, do you think?
Well, we see still a tremendous amount of SS7 today, especially in wireless networks. We're beginning to see SIP-based signaling come in to the networks, wireline networks first, but we're also seeing it creep into the wireless networks. We have a product called our Eagle XG SIP signaling router that allows carriers to more or less seamlessly evolve from our Eagle 5 product in the SS7 world into the SIP-based world. So we're seeing a lot of new technologies being added to the networks, and one of the things that we always note is that more technology gets added than is taken out. So carriers really have to be able to work in a very diverse environment and be able to leverage their existing investments for quite some time. And that's an area where we specialize as well, is really helping them through that transition, allowing them to leverage their existing investments at the same time taking advantage of new technology like SIP.
So those investments in the new technology, I mean, do you see them coming now, or does it really depend where an operator is in his own strategy and the services he wants to offer?
So what we find really, it varies on a carrier by carrier and a geographic basis, right? So one of the things that's been interesting is the aspect of SMS spam. We saw that start in the Middle East area, and we've seen it spread west. And so carriers have been adding firewall capabilities from companies like Tekelec to protect them from spam. But you see that move. So again, very similar needs, but again, it varies on a geographic basis. So this has been over a period of years. So again, you see a lot of trends that are similar in a geographic region. But like I say, every carrier has very unique aspects about their network.
So obviously we're seeing new services, growth in services, we're seeing new networks, technologies being introduced, but how do operators then get visibility to the services so they can manage the performance of those services across those multiple environments?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a real challenge, as we were saying before, with the growth in all these new services due to flat rates. We have our IAS product, a performance management product, and it gives carriers the visibility they need into their network so that they can look at what types of services are being deployed, how customers are using those services, and monitor the network, look at it from both a network level, service level, and a customer level. So again, giving them visibility not only from a troubleshooting perspective, but a network planning perspective to help them plan the future growth of their network to meet the demands of these new services.
And you do that using the signaling information of the equipment you have and the switches around the network, is that right?
That's 100% correct. So a lot of it is comes from the SS7 infrastructure, but on the wireless data side as well, we have the ability to what we do call probe some of those interfaces where it isn't necessarily SS7 traffic, so we can provide fairly wide visibility across the carrier's entire network, looking at both voice and data.
And just give us a feel of what you're seeing at the show here. Are operators concerned about the situation, the economic situation they're facing at the moment, or do you think that they're reasonably confident that what they've got to offer consumers will keep spending on?
I think for the carriers that I've talked to, I mean, it's been a relatively upbeat, positive atmosphere. I think that, again, mobile is still in a great space in the sense that there's still a lot of subscriber growth. There are a lot of other things that we believe people will give up before they're going to give up their mobile phone. So I think that the atmosphere here still seems to be fairly upbeat and optimistic. Clearly, there are challenges that everybody's going to face, but it's been a fairly, like I say, upbeat and optimistic crew.
And is a business like yours dependent on operators upgrading, or rolling out new networks, say to LTE and HSPA evolution? Do you benefit from their investments in those technologies? Or?
We do. I mean, generally what we tend to see is every new technology that's introduced tends to increase the amount of signaling traffic in the network. So whether it be IP-based technologies or LTE or IMS driving SIP-based signaling, it just really seems to add to the overall complexity and the amount of signaling traffic. We view there as being a lot of opportunities there to drive existing signaling traffic, but also for some of our newer products to meet the demand and growth as they roll out these new technologies.
Okay, thank you very much.